Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm so sorry for our little delay. We had a few technical issues. I'm just going to wait for some people to join. Just see how we're doing here. Hi guys, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it, thank you. So, yes, I do apologise. We had a little bit of a technical issue this morning. Our lovely Zoe was going to be hosting the session today, but sometimes, as we know, in moments of need, sometimes as much as technology is our friend, can also be our foe. Anyway, let's get on to the topic at hand. Any of you guys that joined last week, my name is Jon. I'm the International Education Manager at Elgon. And, while we're all in some form of lockdown or, we're working at home, it's a great opportunity for all of us to, really get a new insight, inspiration, techniques and top tips on how to use our products. So we feel prepared, empowered and inspired to go back to the salon. So as you guys know, we had recently launched Tech Romance, which was a part of the collection for the spring. And then we have something really exciting coming through for the summer, which is an amazing evolution. Anyway, nevertheless, last week we presented to you guys one of the first looks from Tech Romance, which was called Stellar Salmon, one of the real hero looks, where I recreated and reinterpreted the haircut technique. Today what I'm going to do with you is I'm going to go through with you the colour technique for our next look, which is called Orchid Shine. Let's have a look who's joined us. Hey George, hi guys, thank you so much for joining. It's great to have you here. As we all know, with education, we're always learning, we're always evolving, and the great thing about what we do is it's truly, it's the magic of what we do in our industry. It's all about sharing and giving back and giving to one another. All right, so the look we're going to work on today, this is called Orchid Shine. So this is actually one of the hero looks from the collection. I really love it. This has been coloured using the highlights that had a makeover at the beginning of the year. We're working in with these beautiful pastel tones, and when we worked with the collection, we really wanted to play with the colour story, this idea of colours that contradict and yet complement each other, and working with panels and veils of different colours, so that when the light hits it, the colour diffracts and it's always changing. So today I'm going to work on the colour technique for this, and then next week at the same time, and fingers crossed we don't have any technical problems, we will be we'll be recreating the haircut technique. So feels a bit of a shame because we've got a lot of length here. We're colouring a lot of hair that's going to be cut off, but emergency times, eh? Alright, so let's get started. We're going to colour using the new highlight. I spoke a little bit about this last week. Highlight is a fantastic product. It is a direct colour. It's a professional use product. It's absolutely amazing. You can use it on natural hair, on previously coloured hair. You can use it to refresh, you can use it to blend greys, and you can really use it to enhance. What we're going to do today is a service called colour toning. So imagine the hair has already been pre-coloured, we've neutralised the undesired yellow tone, and we've got a beautiful canvas to work on. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our first formula, and what we've done is we've mixed the Pastel Filter. There's 3 filters in the line. We've got Pastel, Vintage and Dark. These can be added to any of the colours, and it's kind of self-explanatory in terms of what they do. So the filter, the Pastel Filter, is going to help dilute your colours and make them really delicate. The Vintage, it has this slightly like antique, or almost like a skin tone feel to it. So it creates this really beautiful worn-in effect of your colours. And then the Dark, it almost has this kind of bluey greyish tone to it, and this is going to help deepen your colours. It's completely intermixable with all of the shades. Here we have the natural series. These can also be used to freshen up your brunettes, but also to help blend your greys as well. With the greys, you need to leave it on for about 30 minutes. If I'm using it just to refresh the hair, only 15. Then we move into the primaries. The primaries are true primary colours. So with these, you can use these to create any colour you desire. And then we have what we call the toners, which are already pre-mixed colours. And these are fantastic. They're really, really beautiful. Totally intermixable. And of course can be added in with your filters. So today what we're going to do is we're going to be working quite heavily with the pastel because the look is very, very delicate. And then what we're going to do is we're going to play around with the wild orchid and a little bit of the aquamarine. We've used in all of the formulas. The only thing that we've altered is just a quantity, but the pastel is really the hero here. And then really working with the wild orchid and then the aquamarine just to punch up the colour. So when the light hits the hair, you've just got that beautiful hint coming through. So we're going to start through the underneath area. And we're going to start off with around 3/4 of pastel with 1/4 of the wild orchid. With the sectioning pattern, very easy. All we've done is we've worked with a circular section through the top, with very fine circular section through the middle area, and then leaving out this perimeter. And what we should see is a build-up of different veils of colour, going in from softer into stronger and then back into softer. So when you move the hair or when you're cutting it, it really brings the whole effect to life. Tune in later on. Once I've finished and it's developed, I will share with you the final look. Same as what we did last week, so you can see it before it's been cut. So let's start with the underneath. Because it's eyeliner and it's a direct colour, it's going to sit on the surface of the hair. So what we're going to do here, we've shampooed it. I've sprayed through some of the Sublinia DD cream just to even out the porosity. And then what we're going to do is keep the hair damp, because if we go in dry, which you can do, what can happen is you end up with a result that can be a little bit too intense if you're not careful. And we're just going to work through the shape, starting through the root and then straight down into the mid-lengths and the ends of the hair. Now something that was really neat that we developed also for the eyeliner is this the silicone brush and the silicone bowl. Crystal bowl. So the great thing about the crystal bowl is it's totally transparent. So you can really see the colour that you're working on. And it's fantastic because in the past we would need to work on a white surface. Now we're able to just see it directly inside the bowl before we start our application. And I apologise for the noise. Of course, after we have a technological meltdown this morning, we also have a building crew here as well today. So think of it as the music. So thank you for joining, guys. It's great to have you all here. It's really fantastic. Do feel free to ask any questions. So if you have any questions on, on the product or the formula, please don't hesitate. Now, even though I'm using a brush, I'm still being very disciplined with how I work. So, around the hairline, we're working with like a feathering technique. I use it for everything. My tinting, my bleaching, super, super important, because if I really follow the contour and put hard edges on it, you can end up with a really heavy outline on the shape. We don't want that. We want something that, is still quite natural. And stainage sometimes can be a #1 complaint from customers. Particularly if you're in a salon and you're charging premium prices, clients expect a premium service. So it's very, very important to make sure that you are, mistakes happen, but you do need to make sure you are as disciplined as possible when you're working. I kind of think of it like, going to the salon, I think of it like going to a restaurant or something. It's an occasion, it's an experience. And naturally, if you're going to pay more money as a customer, your expectations are going to be higher. So something as simple as even just putting on a tint, we don't really think too much about it because, as hairdressers or as colorists, it's so instinctive to us. We just do it, we don't think about it. But you'll be amazed at how many clients really notice the little things. How you place the foil, how clean you are with your colour application. Do you recommend aftercare? Do you talk about treatments? You know, what is the best way to maintain it? What is the best way to get the result while, you know, respecting the condition of the hair? You know, these are the kind of things that your customers are going to be expecting from you. It's super, super important. So I'm just working on the hairline first, because this is also very, very important. You know, the hairline is blonde. So if you miss any areas or any zones, you know, you're going to end up with, you know, a risk that you're going to end up with a rabbit leaving the hutch, as we always say. So you could end up with a blonde patch being left in the hair. This is something we really don't want. Okay, now I'm going to just work through. I'm going to work with the fine teeth of the comb for maximum control. I'm going to just take that away. Ignore the other side, just comb that away. And remember, here I'm only focusing on the root area, just on the roots. And I continue taking horizontal sections through. Now the tempting thing here is to maybe use the end of your brush or even use a clip. But believe it or not, that could end up slowing this whole process down. You might find it's actually quicker and more precise working with a comb. And it's also something different, you know, you're doing something that, and believe it or not, clients will notice that, you know, you're doing something that maybe other clients aren't used to, you know, it's a point of difference. So guys, just to recap, if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to drop them into the comments. And also check out our Facebook page and also our Connect by Elgon page, because it's full of lots of other videos on different elements from products through to the collection and so on. So really, this is your real go-to for online education with Elgon. Alright, so I'm just finishing through this side. I don't need to worry too much about going crazy with the saturation, because I mean it's pretty clear. You can see the product is developing. Okay, I'm going to work through the other side. Same principle, super, super simple. And go through, lift it up, go from the underneath, drop that away. And I'm just looking for any spots or any areas that maybe I haven't saturated with enough product. Let's just go through. I always think the hairline is the back area is the easiest part, but it's also the part that we tend to, kind of fly through, you know, because it's the thickest part on the head. You've got the most amount of hair on this back area here. It's very important to make sure you maintain your discipline. So I don't know if you can see, but look, you can see here. So this is nice, but you can see just here, we haven't got enough product. So we need to go back through and just work that in. I also have to make sure I don't get colour on this wooden floor. Although it's a direct colour, this floor is extremely porous, so we don't want any nasty stains. But on the topic of stains, the good thing with this product is, I mean, it is a direct colour. If it does touch the skin, or it does grab on the skin, it doesn't really happen, but if the skin is particularly dry, it's quite porous, it can kind of absorb a little. Don't panic too much. Just a little shampoo will do the trick. You may find it not necessarily with the primaries or the toners. You may find it would be with the naturals. And the reason for that is because the naturals, part of the magic as to why they can blend grey hair is because of the amount of pigment that's inside of the products. Okay, now I'm moving into the sides. We're going to work here with vertical sections. The reason why we're going to work vertically is to really bring the hair off the face, give us more control and give us more discipline as we're working. Is this clear enough for you guys? I hope it is. I'm just going to work through here. Now, can you also see with this brush, with the silicone brush, how easy it is for my application? Because of the size of it, sometimes people might think, oh, it's a little bit small. But when you're doing your creative work, it is a fantastic product. It's a fantastic tool for real precision and creative colouring techniques. The great thing also about the silicone brush is that it is able, it helps the product bind to it. What we did with the eyeliner is we gave it a little makeover. We actually changed the formula of the product. So we've made it more of a gel-like consistency. So the great thing about that is it's able to stick to the hair, and it creates a lot more new creative opportunities when you're working. All right, just going to bring that through here. You see I've lost my discipline a little bit here. So just comb that back, just use the finger, just wipe that away. And what I'm going to do here, just to create a better division between the front and the top, or sorry, the underneath and this midsection, we're going to work just underneath the section. And what I like to do when I'm working, if I really want to create quite a clear division between colours, just go in, press, drop down. In, press, drop down. Same again. By adding in that pressure, what it does is it avoids the product slipping into the section above. There's something so beautiful about, when you're working, and something so beautiful, when you clip the hair, when you section the hair, and you really see that fantastic division between the colours. Yes, thank you, Marika, or Zoe, the amazing guys that are moderating. Division, division, division. As long as you're not feeling divided, I'm happy. All right. Let's just go through. So I'm just going to finish off this section here. Nice and easy. See, I haven't got enough product there. So the development time is 15 minutes. Leaving the product on for longer doesn't necessarily equal better durability. Really, the time that you develop it for really, it changes the intensity of the result ever so slightly. But leaving it on longer doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to last much better. Sometimes a question we get asked quite a lot of is, how long is it going to last on the hair? It's always very challenging, right? When we're working with these types of products, we tend to be using them on, previously lightened hair, hair that's been quite processed. So it does tend to vary from client to client. As a rule of thumb, around 6 shampoos. Of course, you can give or take a few depending on really the hair that you're working on. So what if you use a product on someone's hair in the salon and they, hey, nice for you to join us, Gaddy. Really, Gada, sorry, it's great to see you. Maybe we use the product in the salon and the client totally loves it and, she wants to maintain it or, wants to try and keep it as close as possible. We actually have an alternative product, which I can show you later. It's called Eye Care. Eye Care is a similar principle, except it's in a conditioning cream. So it's a direct colour. And it has a derivative in it, which is super conditioning, but it doesn't make the hair heavy. So it's perfect for all hair types. And, you just leave it on up to 10 minutes after you shampooed it, like a conditioner, like a regular conditioner. And it will just top up the colour. It will just keep it refreshed. Which is actually perfect at this moment in time because, as we know, customers, clients, salons are starting to reopen. So the salons are, becoming quite busy. With a lot of salons, you're only allowed a specific number of people in your store at any one time. You've also got social distancing procedures and processes to respect. So it's also super important, we have to, as hairdressers, we have to be as efficient as possible with our time. So something like highlight is fantastic, and also eye care, just to really keep on top of the colour. So I'm hoping, for you guys, I know all of you are at different stages of this current situation. I hope you're all staying safe, and thank you so much for joining. We're here. The education service is on 24/7, so join us on Elgon, Connect by Elgon, and join us on our page there. Also, you can email us as well, and don't forget to follow our social media channels. It's very good for, keeping up to date as best as possible, and, keeping you inspired and motivated. That's really our main mission here. Okay, so we're going to just work through. You can see we've lost the discipline a little on this side. No pressure. I've only got like 80 of you watching me. Hi Zoran, nice for you to join us. I visited Zoran quite some time ago. It's been a very long time. Fantastic and passionate stylist. Really amazing. So thank you very much for joining in. It's an honour. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off this last few sections through here before we start our application through the lengths and the ends. Keeping it dead simple. So my question to you guys is, are you excited to see this haircut next week? I think it should be very interesting. What do you guys think? It should be very interesting seeing this whole thing come to life. And also, I'd like to apologise again. No, Zoe hasn't changed into a man. It is me. Your eyes are not lying to you. This is Jon. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues this morning, and so Zoe's not with us today. So you have me this week and next week. I think you guys are really lucky. Alright, so now we're going to work through the lengths and the ends of the hair. Dead simple. Just going to work through, same principle, horizontal sections. Comb it through, make sure I'm combing it through from the root. There we go. And we're just going to work that right through to the mid-lengths and the ends. I am going to work really massaging the product into the hair. This just helps with with it bonding to the hair. As you all know, this is a mannequin, so sometimes the mannequins aren't always our best friend when we're working with these types of products. The porosity is all over the shop. The hair is a bit of a mixed bag of different things, so we have to, as best as possible, safeguard our application. Alright, so now we're just going to work through. I always use a foil to isolate and protect the hair. Not only does this minimize the risk of contamination between colours, but it also ensures that you're not getting colour all over your client's neck, Hi Annie, I'm very good, thank you. Thank you so much for joining. It's great to have you here with us. Really great. Alright, so I'm just going to finish off this section. So you see, once you've got past the roots, the rest of it is nice and easy. I'm very happy the builder has stopped working, so I can't hear them working anymore. And so far, my dog seems to be behaving himself. So, so far so good. Let's just pray that FedEx doesn't rock up anytime soon with a delivery. Okay, same on the other side. Let's ignore that. Horizontal. I can keep the sections quite thick because I'm working through. It's maybe a little bit too much. I've lost my discipline there. There we go. Just comb that down. Now also, something else that I think is really important to note, the highlight, isn't only for, you know, creative applications. It also has, you know, alternative uses. It also has commercial applications. So, I mean, you can see on the mannequin, you know, we're clearly going for something that's got that slightly lavender effect to it. But maybe I just want to use it as a neutralizer, as a quick toner, maybe an alternative to a traditional oxidation color. Of course, what you save in time, you lose in durability, but it is a fantastic product either to enhance what you've already got, or maybe you do just want to quickly neutralize you know, the yellow from the hair. It is fantastic for that. You do need to be careful though, because, you know, remember, you know, the end result is a sum of what you have plus what you add equals what you get. So, as I'm sure you guys all know, if I'm working on hair where there is a lot of yellow, and I'm using a color that is very laden in blue, there's a very high chance that I'm not going to end up with a beautiful steely silvery color. In reality, I'm going to end up with like a dirty greenish color, you know, which is not, well, I mean, maybe that is what you're seeking, but if it's really to neutralize, you know, you always need to be very mindful of what you're working on. Okay, so now let's just work through the sides and make sure I've got no tint on my hand. There we go. And same principle here. I'm going to bring it all back. I'm going to do this as one because the section is quite fine. Make sure I don't get this everywhere. Oh, perfect. And don't panic, we've always got a backup. Oh, look at that, they're both falling away today. All right, let's just work through. There we go, perfect. Perfect, so we're just going to comb that back, and I'm just going to isolate that with a foil, like so. Clearly I need to add a little more product to it, so I'm going to just do that now, just so it holds itself better. And what we're going to do is we're just going to fold that in, just use the end of the comb. Just grip that into place. Perfect. Excellent. Like so. I'm not too concerned about this. Obviously, if we had real ears, we can get that super flush to the head. Okay. Same process on the other side. Dead easy. Just one section. Of course, if the hair was really thick, then you would be subdividing this. And that is, I think, something that's really important. Whether we're cutting or colouring, foiling or thinning, it's, the principle is always the same. You know, when I'm working with finer hair, I need to take bigger sections, because if the sections are too fine, anything that I do is going to become lost on the hair. When I'm working on thicker hair, you know, I need to employ a different type of discipline. I need to adapt the technique as I'm working. So it's also something very important to bear in mind when you're working. So for these mannequins, because the hair isn't particularly thick, it gives me a little bit more space and freedom to play here. So let's just add a little more product onto the end. Okay, and let's just fold that in, whoop, without losing the foil. So our mannequin doesn't have a beautiful violet neckline. We don't want her looking like she's from the fifth element. All right, so that is the first section. Very easy. Now, of course, you can change your gloves if you need to. Personally, I'm not going to, because A, we're working with colours that are very similar, so I'm not too concerned if there's a little bit of a, you know, a little bit of a crossover. And B, for the planet, you know, it's you know, it's, if we can get more out of a product by being smarter with how we use it, then of course, why not? All right, so now let's move on to the second colour. Same principle, exactly the same principle. Except this time round, what we've done is we've actually added in a little bit of the aquamarine. The aquamarine is pretty much what it says on the tip, on the packaging. So it is this slightly greeny bluish colour. It interacts with the violet to create this really cool shimmer. And we're going to put that right through this mid-band here. I can see Zoe. I think Zoe's joined us. So Doreen's saying here, Zoe, you're making Jon work hard. He's doing an amazing job. Thank you very much. This is a complete surprise for me this morning. I was busy preparing a little surprise for you all for next month. I'm so excited. That's all I can say right now. We got some very exciting, fabulous new products for you guys to play with, and some amazing new inspirational images. I really cannot wait to share it with you. Perfect for the summer, and perfect, I think, with where we're at the moment with everything that's happening. Then again, I say that, last week I also touched on this topic with with tech romance, because with the current situation, with everything that's happening at the moment, we look on the news, we look in the media, everything's just a little bit depressing, and we're all seeking some form of escapism. So this is actually where I think tech romance has come at a really perfect time, because it is a form of escapism, and it's really playing with hair colour and shapes in a different way, and something that is with a sense of the future, but it doesn't have that kind of sci-fi effect to it. Everything's very, very delicate. Like it says on the tin, it's tech romance. It really is romantic and beautiful. Alright, so I'm just going to finish off this area here, like so. And we're just going to repeat exactly the same process through here. So once you've got past this, the last section is super, super easy. Like I said, I'm not really so concerned if these colours meet. And I'm not sure if you can see it right away, but you can see by adding in that little bit of aquamarine, we're talking like 2 grams here. We'll get Zoe to write in the formula. We did quite a lot of pastel, a little more of the wild orchids, and we're talking like a few grams of the aquamarine. And what that does is it just shifts the colour slightly, so you're going to get this really cool like steel colour through this mid band. But because Eyeline is pure tonality, it's not that it's got, we don't really talk about it in terms of colour level, we talk about it more in terms of colour character, so the reflection or the tone. What's really cool is that the lighting changes the colour so much, which I love. So it's never one or the other. The colour is always adapting and it's always evolving. Alright, this is looking good. So now we're going to work through the other side. Just something to really note, that middle band colour is going to become the accent through the fringe. So it stems right round this front area, like a veil. So I'm just going to work through and just isolate that front. I'm going to put a bit more pressure on this because I want there to be quite a clear division. Maybe actually I'm thinking this has a silver lining, because what we were actually doing was Zoe would pre-cut her mannequin and I would pre-colour mine. So I'm actually killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm showing you everything today. Alright. Just lift the head up. Notice also how I'm always moving the head position. It might sound strange, but it was one of the greatest lessons I've ever been taught in the world of colour. I was trained quite extensively on really how to think about the approaching of colour. And, in the beginning, I was always really focused as a cutter. you know. So I spent the beginning of my career predominantly as a cutter, and then I moved into becoming a colorist. And it was very interesting because, you know, when you think about cutting hair, you think about the dynamics of the shape, everything from your body positioning, head positioning, all of these elements are so important. And we focus on it super heavily when we're talking about creating a shape with a pair of scissors and a comb. But we never really think about it when we're talking about colour. And I always find that very interesting. I mean, for example, if you're trying to put a foil in, something as basic as a set of beautiful precision highlights, one of my favourite things to do in the world. I just love it. I love it when they're beautifully placed. I love how they look when they're developing in the hair. And yeah, it's incredible how if you're not, something as basic as not standing parallel to your section, not moving the head position to the correct space when you're working, all of these things make a massive difference. Sometimes with doing a set of precision highlights, the difference between a good set and a not so good set is how close they are to the roots. And for most of our customers in the salon, this is one of the most important things. So if we just do something as simple as just standing parallel when we're working, that can make a huge difference when we're colouring. It's just something so basic. And so many of us, I think we all do it, we're all guilty of this. So many of us, have the client sitting and looking straight at the mirror, so we're trying to highlight the front, though we're doing it at the side. Never be afraid to turn the chair. It's something so basic, but really very powerful. So I'm always moving the head as and where I need to really get the best possible application I can get. Okay, same principle as before. Just going to work through a little bit more heavy-handed through the root. Are you excited to see the photo later, to see how the colour's going to look? I hope so. Alright. And then, like I said, same time, same place next week, you'll catch me bringing this to life with the haircut. Alright, so last section now from the front. So you can see the section's pretty deep. I want quite a big accent around the face. Same principle, just work through the root. And then once that's done, we're going to take it straight through to the lengths and ends. Oh, I managed to do some makeup as well, so I'm just painting her face, which is great. Hey Sam, it's so great to have you with us. It's been a long time. I've had many great experiences with Sam. He's a fantastic guy. Also notice here, that I want to take my sections horizontally and bring everything back. But if I do that, what's going to happen is I'm going to contaminate too much. I'm going to contaminate the section above. So what I'm doing here is I'm working in like a stack process, vertical sections, using the comb to control how I'm working. And then look how the brush is perfect for really beautiful precision work. So it looks like the builders are back again. I'm curious of what they're doing. As long as it's not my house, I'm okay. Alright, so just coming on to the last few sections here. So if you've just joined, and we haven't met already, my name is Jon. I am the International Education Manager at Elgon. We're here live from the Netherlands, which is where I live. So I work in Italy and I live here in the Netherlands. And we are doing a Facebook Live for a colour technique from our collection, Tech Romance. And using a new product called Highlight, which is a fantastic direct colour. And we're working with 3 different levels of shades, all within a very similar chromatic family. but we're building up these shades as we're working through. So next week, when I cut this, you're going to see how colour and cut both work together in one form. Alright, so last section through here. Okay, same principle, very, very easy. I'm just going to go through. I can keep the sections quite big through here. And I'm just going to work that right over the top. Like I said, normally on normal hair, you wouldn't necessarily need to worry too much about massaging the product through. There's a really cool piece of technology in here called Hydrogum 80. And it's a mix of different types of gums, and they all basically work together to help the product absorb into the hair, and it actually helps with the durability of the colour. Because we're working on a mannequin though, mannequins are really notorious, as we all know. They're heavily treated, they've been through quite a lot. Sometimes the quality of the hair isn't the best. So what we're doing is, just as a safeguard, is we're making sure that each section is totally combed through, and that the product is massaged into the mannequin's hair, just so we get a nice even result. I've also prepared the hair with hi Albie, thank you for joining. It's great to see you. It's really great, actually. We have so many people here from Europe, Asia, North and South America. It's fantastic. So thank you all for jumping in. I really appreciate it. As we say, sharing is caring. So, we're here to, to inspire you and, share ideas with you, and, it's not necessarily that we're here to teach, because that's not really our objective. We're really here to empower you, give you ideas, give you inspiration that you can take back to the salon, Anyway, where were we? So yes, with Tech Romance, it's come really at a perfect time, because, everyone's seeking some form of escapism at this moment in time. And I really think it serves that beautifully. Tech Romance is this really great evolution on the pastel trend, which we all know is super powerful. It's not going anywhere, and Highlight is the perfect product. It's such a fitting product to really push that, All right. Same on the other side, keeping it nice and easy. So once I've finished with this, what I need to do is develop it for around 15 minutes. And then what we're going to do is just rinse it, never shampoo it. The only time you would ever shampoo the product is if there is maybe a little bit of stainage on the scalp. This doesn't really happen very often. If it is ever going to happen, it would probably be when you're doing your grey blending service with the Highlight Naturals. The reason why they're able to blend the greys so well, even though it's a direct colour, is purely because the amount of pigment that's inside of them. It's very easy. Okay, so we're just going to help with this, and then move on to this last panel here, before moving into the crown. All right. And then, like I said, next week we're going to go back through and we're going to bring this alive with the haircut, which is fantastic. So the original technique was developed by Zoe, who's a fantastic colorist. We both work together, but she's really the pioneer. Very, very simple, just working with circular sections, overlaying 3 different colors which are in a similar chromatic family, to create a bit of interest within the shape, and create movement without being too over the top. And then the shapes originally were created by an artist that we collaborated with, Marco Girotti. He's fantastic, and he really put together all of the cuts and the forms within the collection. I really can't wait to bring it alive next week for you guys. I'm super excited. All right, so I'm just finishing off this last section here. Just going to comb that through just to ensure it's distributed. Pick that up. Whoop. I always hate that when that happens. There we go. Here we're just using the Elgon foil. This is great. It's got a good grip. It's nice and thick. I personally like my foil as a material to work with for precision colour. I like it to be quite strong. I like it to be quite firm. It helps give me just more control when I'm working. There's no questions. Oh, thank you, Zoe. Zoe's jumping in here with answering your questions. So that's fantastic, Albie. Excellent, great point. So really about the foils. I mean, you know, as a brand, we were created by a hairdresser, and whenever we do anything, whether it's a service or a product or an innovation, everything is always developed with the salon and the hairdresser in mind, or the stylist in mind. And certainly for us in education, I mean, I always feel so blessed because, you know, we're able to look at the arsenal of products that we have, and to really be able to work with the lab, to work with innovation, to work with these different disciplines, to look at creating tools that we really want, tools that help us be the best that we can be, you know, and make it, you know, really give our clients what they want. And it's really such a privilege. All right, so now we're working through the top area. Again, very simple. We're just going to work through the circular section. Just working the product through. Now, it is possible, if you wanted to, it is possible to use the eyelight directly from the bottle. And you would normally do that if you're doing a great blending service. You can quite literally twist the top because all of them, they've got these amazing little twist functions. So you untwist it and you can actually just work it straight on. So if you want to blend your grey areas, it's fantastic for that. But you can apply directly from the bottle if you feel the need to. Of course, you know, you can use your silicone brush and your crystal bowl. This is perfect for your creative applications. Great for the salon as well, you know, because do you remember earlier we were talking about, you know, a point of difference, showing the client something different that maybe they're not used to? This is exactly what it's all about. You know, clients, they want an experience. They want something, you know, that they can remember, something that they can take away. So it's really important to give the clients that, because we know that that's what clients want. And if you remember from what I was saying last week, your most powerful advertisement, the most powerful advertisement you could ever use is your clients and the word of mouth. It doesn't matter. I mean, of course, social media is super, super, super important, but word of mouth is one of the most powerful weapons that we have. And the best way to get people talking is not only through your craftsmanship, so through your skills as a stylist, but also through what you give them, how it's packaged. You know, everything from how clean your sections are, to how disciplined you work, even right through to things like, you know, how you serve a coffee. I mean, these are the kind of things that people are always going to notice. So, you know, with the tools that we've created here, not only is it there to have a bit more of a wow for your customers in the salon, but it's also there to, as a practical purpose, you know, so it's also there to help you be able to see what you're working with. You've got no background colour to interfere with what you're doing, you know, so what you mix in the bowl is what you're going to have on the hair. Maybe just a small brush. Yeah, that's a great question. There's a question here. I know why you use a small brush for the application of the colour. Purely just for precision. And also just to help with the products sticking to the hair. But if necessary, of course, you can. You can use a tint brush. It's absolutely possible. But with the silicone brush, it's going to help with the gel. It's going to help the product stick onto the hair better. So I'm not necessarily just thinking of time, I'm also thinking of the result. And you know, for me as a stylist, of course, everything we do needs to be commercial, but then equally at the same time, you know, it's the result. Because it's the result which is why your clients come back. I always believe that if clients only come to you because you're quick, then, you know, what about the craft? Think back to the icons of our industry, you know, Orbe, think of Sassoons, Trevor Sorbet, so on and so forth. You know, these guys are true craftsmen, you know, they're true artists, and they really think about, you know, precision and the artistry of what we do. And I think that's something we can never lose. I think this is very, very important. Okay, so I'm just finishing off this section here before I move on to the other side. I mean, something else that you can do, and this is also something I do sometimes, is also, you know, you can apply this directly in the basin if you need to. Certainly, here we're using this product in a more creative setting, but if I was using it in, you know, in a different way, you can absolutely do that. Remember, we're using it on damp hair, so it makes it super easy to apply. It's also going to help with the time, and it's also going to help with the porosity. You can, as a note, you can also use this on dry hair. But what happens if I use a direct colour on dry hair? The hair's going to drink it. So you have to be super careful. If the hair is very porous, that could actually impact how the pigment deposits into the hair. All right, just moving through. And please guys, if you do have any questions, do feel free to put them into the comments below, and Zoe will answer them as we go. If I see them, I will answer them as well. This is why I'm wearing my glasses this morning, so I can see a little bit better. And if there are any that, you know, haven't answered, or you have particular questions that are directed to me, please leave them in the comments, and I will make sure that I answer them after the video. So again, like at the underneath, I'm working with vertical sections. Working through here. I'm quite liking how the product is developing. I always love the development process. It's something I really enjoy. When I look on Facebook or Instagram, and I look at, you know, different artists, and, you know, when they're putting these beautiful colours, I really love looking at the process. I think it's just fantastic. You can see my model here, she's molting. She's definitely need for a good cut. I cannot wait to cut all of this off next week. And you know, someone last week said something really interesting, you know, about using these color techniques and the cuts in the salon. And I saw something in a forum, on a hairdressing forum. You know, someone, let's say a hater, was making some remarks about, you know, someone else's work, and I thought, you know, don't hate, create, you know, share the love. Everything is all about sharing the love, and that's, I think, one of the most amazing things about our industry. It's never a competition. We're all here to guide and help each other more than ever before, you know, with everything that's happening with the salons and with our customers. Can you imagine? I mean, I was looking at what's happening here in the Netherlands, and it's really incredible how many salons, or how many hairdressers, not salons, how many hairdressers have gone underground and gone rogue. It's almost like going back to, you know, the speakeasies in Chicago. You know, people are hiding, getting their hair done. But I think it says something very interesting about our industry, and also how the market perceives their hairdresser. I think now more than ever do people truly understand the power of their stylist, the power of you know, having their hair done. And I think this is a very interesting time to be sharing and collaborating, because for sure, when salons do start returning back to normal, I really do believe that clients are going to be more receptive to, different services, doing things a little bit differently with their hair. And I actually think there's going to be a lot more, the perception's different. So I think that the level of trust is different with their stylist now. So I really believe that, as negative as this whole situation has been, I think we're going to enter a golden age for our industry. I think something very interesting is going to happen. So this is why I say create, don't hate, because we can always learn from one another. I mean, and that is truly the beauty of the world that we work with. We're gifted with our hands. We have a skill that we can take wherever we want across the globe, and it's I think is really magical. All right, so I'm just now moving on to the last section. I'm really loving how this is looking. I think this is pretty cool. What do you guys think? It's going to look quite interesting. All right. Let's just move on to this last section here. Very easy. Just working through. Making sure that I'm working the product into the hair. Because we don't want a patchy mannequin. Although that could look quite cool, but it isn't really the technique from the collection. Let's work through here. But it's going to be so satisfying removing this colour that we have here. Now, just a little top tip for you guys as well. Maybe you are short on time and you want to do something a little bit creative in the salon like this. Maybe you don't have time to, let's say you bleached the hair or you decolored the hair and the hair is quite yellow. Maybe you just don't quite have the time to tone the hair with an oxidation color. So let's say like Modern Styling, for example, or Imagea. And you think, okay, I need to do something quick and it's purely to neutralize. Well, we have an amazing tool. It's part of the color care system. It can, of course, it can be used in the salon, but it's also a retail product for your end customers. We've got a silver shampoo and a silver conditioner. Both are designed for level 7 and above, so it will have some neutralizing ability, even on slightly darker blondes. The pigment in it is like a blue-violet pigment, more violet than blue. But what it will do is it will help kill primarily yellow, but it would also help kill some of the, kill's a very strong word, neutralize. It will help neutralize some unwanted orange as well as yellow. So you get even more neutralizing power from the product. So I'm going to just show you very quickly. So, okay, touch wood. We did okay. We didn't give her a makeup class today, so that's always good. All right, so think of it like this. Imagine we're in a salon, we're tight on time, we just need to neutralize the yellow because I know if I do this color and there's too much yellow in the hair, it could go green. Your perfect port of call is these two. Parts of the color care product line. These are fantastic. If you have these in your market, for sure, test them. Even test these on swatches. They're super, super effective. They're much loved across the globe. What if maybe I want to neutralize even beyond like a blonde? We've even got in here an anti-red shampoo. I don't have it with me right now, but the anti-red shampoo is made up of blue and green pigment, mainly blue, so it's perfect on darker color levels. And even on my own hair, believe it or not, I actually use it. It's fantastic for killing off too much warmth from being out in the sun. All right, so that's me done. I want to thank you guys so much for joining. Once again, I really apologize for the slightly late start. The wonders of technology. You've either got to be best friends with it or you have to hate it. I'm going to develop this now for 15 minutes. I'm just going to rinse this through, no shampooing. I'm going to dry it through, and then later on, come and check out our Facebook story and our Instagram story, where we'll see a photograph of the final coloured look. Join me next week, same time, same place, fingers crossed, no technology issues, where we're going to bring this colour alive with the haircut. So, thank you very much, and in the meantime, if you need any more info, jump in with the comments here, or even join us and follow us on our Facebook digital platforms, and also the Connect by Elgon YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and God bless. Stay safe. Bye.